It's a masterpiece, often called the ceiling of human literature and one of the unscalable peaks of Russian literature. So, what's this book all about? It's like a peek into the mind of a murderer. It's intense. Dostoevsky slices open humanity and lays it bare for you to see, amidst all the bloody seams, showing you both the darkness and the light. The story follows Raskolnikov, a law student who, due to poverty, drops out of school and lives in isolation. Desperate, he conceives a theory dividing people into ordinary and extraordinary. He believes extraordinary people, like Napoleon, have the right to commit crimes if it benefits humanity. Raskolnikov decides to test his theory by murdering a cruel pawnbroker, believing he can use her wealth to help others. However, after the murder, he is consumed by guilt and fear, realizing he underestimated the psychological impact of his actions. The novel not only explores the moral dilemmas faced by Raskolnikov, but also delves into the suffering of 19th century Russian society, the poverty, corruption, and moral decay. Yet, amidst all this darkness, love and hope emerge, symbolized by the character Sonya, who represents compassion and redemption. Dostoevsky himself led a life marked by suffering. Born in 1821 in a poor corner of Moscow, he experienced hardship from a young age, including epilepsy, which profoundly influenced his writing. At 28, he was sentenced to death for his involvement in anti-Tsarist activities, only to be reprieved at the last moment and exiled to Siberia. This harrowing experience deeply shaped his worldview and literary themes. Crime and Punishment is not just a crime story. It's a profound exploration of human nature, morality, and redemption, making it one of the most influential works in world literature. Dostoevsky nearly faced death, but saw it as an experience. He famously said, "Life is like a grain of wheat falling into the ground. It does not die. Man is a grain of wheat. Once dead, it will bring forth more fruit." This perspective inspired Wang Dui's biography of Alyona, "The Fallen Wheat Never Dies." After his near execution, Dostoevsky was exiled to Siberia, enduring years of hard labor and military service. At 38, he returned to St. Petersburg, where he resumed writing, despite deep gambling debts and the loss of his newborn daughter. He admitted, "In everything, I go to extremes. I've constantly overstepped boundaries." Crime and Punishment, completed at 45, explores moral boundaries amid societal upheaval in Russia. During its writing, Dostoevsky faced poverty and illness, even pleading with editors for advances. Despite these challenges, he crafted a masterpiece. The novel's innovative first-person narrative from the murderer's perspective and its profound psychological depth left a lasting impact. Raskolnikov, the protagonist, wrestles with the idea of being an extraordinary person who can transgress moral boundaries. He rationalizes murder as a means to a greater good, but soon faces overwhelming guilt and self-doubt. Raskolnikov, a poor student in St. Petersburg, initially plans to pawn an old watch, but ends up killing an old pawnbroker and her sister. Despite his careful planning, he is haunted by guilt, leading him to question his motives and humanity. His inner turmoil grows, as does his fear of discovery. Returning to his room, Raskolnikov receives a letter from his mother about his sister Dunya's engagement to Lizaveta, a man she doesn't love but sees as a means to support Raskolnikov. This adds to his mental anguish. Raskolnikov encounters Sonya, a young woman forced into prostitution to support her family. Her faith and purity deeply move him. He eventually confesses his crime to her and, upon her urging, decides to turn himself in. The novel concludes with Raskolnikov's self-imposed exile to Siberia, where Sonya follows him. Through suffering and Sonya's unwavering support, Raskolnikov begins to find redemption. Crime and Punishment is not just about a murderer's internal conflict, but a profound exploration of human nature, moral dilemmas, and the possibility of redemption through suffering.